Stranger Things Volume 2 is here, and while it's been entertaining and fun to watch, there's quite a few flaws with it. And once you look past the surface of what the show is presenting, there's a lot of things that don't really make much sense. There's been so many plot conveniences and poor storytelling moments that have kind of taken me out of the story. So, let's talk about it. Talking about just the plot conveniences, first one I want to mention is the hospital scene. Now, in this scene, there's Lucas, Robin, Robin's girlfriend, I think it's Vicky, all there trying to rescue Max. They're getting attacked by 3 demodogs who have them cornered in the laundry room. They're hiding behind a single laundry machine, and the 3 dogs are walking up to them, taking their time. And just as they're about to see them, right behind the last washing machine, they get distracted by a sound coming from another washing machine. It turns out that someone turned on another dryer and put a gas canister inside of it. And you see the demodogs just going right up to it and being distracted like puppies. The demodogs were inches away from seeing the main group get distracted at the very last second. And who put this in the washing machine? Mrs. Wheeler, who showed up and somehow got into the room, turned the laundry machine on, ran away just in time for the Demogorgons to come and distract them by. And also, they saw the spinning machine and turned into literal puppies, reverted to primate dog instinct. And since the dryer gets so hot, the gas canister explodes, and the explosion is just large enough to stop right before our main gang, and with enough time for Miss Wheeler to come out and aura farm. First of all, the Demogorgons getting right up to the edge of the main gang. I know it's there to build tension and show how close they are, but come on, like that's ridiculous. I feel like every single time the main gang is right about to get caught, but some last second, some fucking MacGuffin comes out and saves the day. It just feels like a cop out every single time. It's supposed to be a cool moment that Miss Wheeler, bam, came and saved the main group from 3 Demogorgons. But no, it just feels like cheap and lame. Since when were Demodogs known to act like puppies? I don't think we've ever seen them revert to this little dog-like instincts looking at a washing machine. Everyone gets out of that scene scot-free. Not a single injury, not a single person died or suffered any consequences from that scene. Literally every single person got out of that. And that ties into a bigger problem that I have with this volume so far. There have been no consequences to anything or anyone. Every single person who was there at the beginning of episode 5 is there at the end of episode 7. No changes to the status quo and no deaths, no severe consequences to anyone's actions. They are playing it way too safe for the final season. There's only 1 episode left, and in 2 hours they have to tie this all up. In the scene in the lab where they're all devising the plan, I don't know off the top of my head how many characters there are specifically, but there are probably at least 15 characters in there who are all gearing up to be part of this final battle. And all of them were there since the beginning of episode 5. No one's died. No one suffered any injuries. There have been no consequences to anyone's actions. Every single plan has pretty much worked. And if it hasn't worked, they found an alternate solution without any hiccups or any problems. You can see how ridiculously large this main cast has become and how much of a problem it's really become. There's too many main characters and half the cast just ends up sitting there and being accompanying figure to the plot. Another scene I want to talk about is at the end of episode 7 where they're all driving into the military base so they can get into the portal for the upside down. That was just the stupidest thing I've ever seen. They're driving a full-size truck into the military base. Nancy's sticking her head out the top and popping all these military soldiers. None of them are able to hit a single shot, and Nancy's able to take out every single one of them. These military soldiers, who are supposed to be highly trained government soldiers, are shooting and dying like they're fucking stormtroopers. No one can hit a shot, and they're all so vulnerable. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Also, Dr. K, her entire thing this season has been about finding 11, hunting her down and killing her, because she blames everything that's happened on 11. But right before the episode ends, as the main gang is about to enter the portal, the back of the truck is open, and 11 is there. Dr. K is there, full pistol out, sees 11 aura farming in the back of the truck, and she lowers her pistol. Doesn't even shoot her. Bro, what are you doing? Her entire story this season is finding 11 and killing her. Why is she hesitating when she sees 11 then? This should be on sight. That pistol should have fired the instant you saw her. It should not have dropped. Why would you just let her go like that? Another thing, Holly's entire character has been so inconsistent. Half the time, she's like fucking Encyclopedia Brown piecing together this mystery like it's nothing. She's figuring out these solutions to these problems way too quickly. Now, Max has been in there for 2 years, and Holly in there in 5 minutes. This 10-year-old kid is able to piece together the whole thing. Again, half the time, she's like this Encyclopedia Brown character. But the other half the time, she's like a helpless child. How is she able to do one without the other? It doesn't really make sense. Her character molds into whatever the plot needs her to be. The entire Max and Holly sequence in Camazotz feels so rushed. She's able to figure out the mystery and find Vecna's trauma feels so easily. She knows instantly that, okay, they're in the cave. They need to go out into the yard. It feels like no matter what problem they encounter, within 30 seconds, she's able to figure out a solution for them. It's just such a big plot convenience. Then I also want to talk about the lab in the Upside Down part with Steve, Nancy, Jonathan, and Dustin. So at the end of, I think it was episode 5, Dustin finds the book of Dr. Brenner explaining what the environment they're in is. And he says, literally on the radio, he's yelling that if they shoot at the exotic matter, they would all die. But literally none of them died. Nothing happened to them. Every single one of them made it out alive without a scratch. Nancy and Jonathan were stuck in the basement for a little while. But besides that, and even that didn't seem that scary. The liquid literally stopped before it got to the height of the table. So it's not like they were drowning or suffocating. They had the perfect nice table to themselves. They could just sit and relax. Obviously not relax, but like they could just sit and wait comfortably for someone to come get them. Now, I don't know if I just severely misunderstood what was supposed to happen in that scene, but why did everything stop melting? Why did the paint glue-like substance stop flowing down into the room? Why did it all harden? Yeah, it shot up the hole in the Upside Down's wall, right? The wormhole, whatever that thing is. And it created the windstorm, the vacuum that was sucking up 11, Collie, and Hopper. But again, they all made it out fine. They had 2 people with powers there, so yeah, that makes sense. But these 4 were at the source of it, and none of them have power. How did they all make it out fine? That feels like a huge plot convenience. And also, coming on to plots that didn't end up meaning anything, Nancy and Jonathan's engagement. The scene itself was actually pretty good. The moment of them rekindling their relationship and confessing to everything that's been building up for them, that was a pretty nice moment. And if that scene existed in a vacuum, that's actually a pretty good scene. I actually really enjoyed the scene on its own. But in the grand scheme of things, their engagement literally didn't matter at all. They got engaged and nothing's happened about it since then. Dustin and Steve weren't told about it. No one else was told about it afterwards once they got outside. They didn't even show them go pick up the ring once they dropped it. No one has mentioned it at all. They haven't mentioned it to anyone that they got engaged. I mean, like, that's a pretty important thing to mention or to bring up at least once, I feel like. Yeah, they're fighting all this chaotic stuff, but I feel like they could have had a scene where someone saw the ring on Nancy's finger and like, oh my god, what is that? And they're like, oh yeah, we got engaged. Even like that, like at least bring it up, you know? And they could have had, oh, congratulations, so happy for you. Even with all this bad stuff going around, you know, prove that love knows no bounds, love binds us together, all that kind of stuff. Like something that could have happened there. And then with Steve and Dustin, like no one else not knowing, the love triangle dilemma that they had here, right, with Steve, Nancy, and Jonathan, it just kind of ends. There's nothing else happens after that. Steve isn't told about it, but all of a sudden, it's like the whole subplot's just been resolved, and nothing happened after that. Literally amounted to nothing. So that felt like it's just a huge waste of time. I really wish they did something more with the engagement thing because it was actually a good scene. I actually like that scene. The way we're going right now, it really does seem like they're trying to end this off by giving everyone a happy ending, tying it all up with a nice fancy bow and calling it like that. But I really don't think that will work. And I really hope they don't do that and actually give us a more nuanced, you know, unpredictable ending, right? And it doesn't just have to be characters dying. Like, they probably will kill people off because holy shit, the cast is huge and everyone's talked about it at this point, but that doesn't mean it's not an issue. The cast is huge and it's kind of bloating up the show, but I really hope that they're able to deliver on this last episode. Overall, it's been pretty fun to watch, but it just feels like they're playing it way too safe for the final season. And there's just so many plot conveniences that are kind of hard to ignore. So I just had to make a video on it and share my thoughts. But let me know what you guys think. If you agree, disagree with what I'm saying. I'd love to hear what your opinions are and what you've thought of the season. Anyways, thanks for watching. Take care.